I'm going to be making my picks for the entire bracket in the NFL playoffs on both sides, leading all the way to the Super Bowl matchup and the winner of the Super Bowl. In the AFC, the Chargers play the Jags. I think the Jacksonville Jaguars at home with the momentum, Chargers being complete idiots and playing all their dudes, are going to lose on the road to Jacksonville in the first round. Bengals are going to play the Ravens, and they're going to beat them by 2 or 3 touchdowns, and the Bengals will move on pretty easily. Buffalo plays the Dolphins. 2 seed versus 7 seed. Tua's health is questionable. Even if he's in, how effective is he going to be? Tyreek Hill's been limping a lot. The Bills are at home. They have all the momentum. The Bills will handle the Dolphins without an issue in the first round. The Jags will play the Chiefs in the AFC side of the bracket. Jacksonville at Kansas City. Kansas City beats them by at least a touchdown. They're overmatched. Jacksonville doesn't have any playoff experience. They certainly don't have the defensive weapons to keep up with Patrick Mahomes and everybody else involved in Kansas City. Kansas City finds themselves in the AFC Championship. The Bills play the Bengals in Buffalo. This is going to be the best game of the postseason. It was the game that we unfortunately missed out on for terrible reasons, but thankfully DeMar Hamlin's doing a lot better. And this game is going to come down to who can run the ball more, because neither of these teams necessarily rely on running the rock. The Bengals have Joe Mixon. The Bills have Devin Singletary and James Cook, but a bunch of running backs that are super effective. But both of these teams are very reliant on quarterback play. I think the Bengals come in and give the Bills an incredible fight, but I think the Bills outlast the Bengals in an overtime, 1 possession, 3-point game, and it's an absolute thriller. I'm talking a 41-40 type game, or let's get more specific. 41-38, Bills will beat the Bengals, and it'll be an absolute thriller of a game. Can't count out Joe Shiesty, but the Bills at home is tough to go up against. That would put the Bills and Kansas City in the AFC Championship in Kansas City at a neutral site. With the neutral site consideration, I think the Bills show up against Kansas City in the AFC Championship. Pretty much don't have an issue. They take a lead. Kansas City answers back quickly, but the Bills have a much more well-rounded team, despite all the issues that they have been dealing with injuries and, of course, DeMar Hamlin. But they're going to be playing incredibly inspired football, and the home field is not going to be as much of a factor because it will be at a neutral site. And because of that, the Bills will find themselves winning the AFC and in the Super Bowl on the AFC side of the bracket. On the NFC side of the bracket, the first game on the NFC side, the Seahawks and the 49ers. 49ers at home. Brock Purdy's been absolutely carving. 49ers are just stupid loaded on every part of the football. The Seahawks got in. It's a very admirable effort, but I think it's a 35-13. 49ers handle the Seahawks pretty easily. They advance to the second round and don't really run into a ton of issues against the Seahawks. It might be a bit of a closer game in the first parts of the first half, but then the 49ers just cruise, pick off Geno Smith a couple times, and that'll be the end of it for the Seahawks. But the 49ers are the much better team in this matchup. The Vikings will play the Giants at home. The Vikings have a little bit of that magic this year, the 1 possession wins. The Giants ground and pound. Daniel Jones, Saquon Barkley, stellar defense. I got the New York Giants beating the Minnesota Vikings in the first round of the postseason. The Vikings are very fraudulent. They have a terrible defense, horrible defense, arguably the worst in the NFL. And when they face an opposing defense that shuts them down and attacks them in the areas that they utilize the most, double teams Justin Jefferson. Yeah, they have Hawkinson and Thielen and Dalvin Cook, but the Giants' run defense is amazing. So they're going to handle Dalvin Cook, at least keep him contained. And if they can contain Justin Jefferson to just around 100 yards, they'll win the game. They will win that game 26-20 over the Vikings. On Monday night, the Cowboys are going to play the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. The Cowboys are going to roll over and lay an egg. Tom Brady is going to pull another rabbit out of his hat somehow probably score 10 points through the entire first 3 quarters, get the ball back down 16-10 with 2 minutes left in the fourth quarter, take the ball down the field, a pass interference call here, a defensive holding call there, a few guys that are just miraculously wide open, and a few incredible jump ball catches from Mike Evans and the works, and they'll score a touchdown to win 17-16 at home, and the Cowboys will freak out and everybody will say what happened, but the Bucs will beat the Cowboys. That'll line up for San Francisco against New York and the Eagles against the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. San Francisco will play New York, and that'll be a great matchup in my opinion. The only part where the Giants are going to struggle is that they don't have the offensive firepower to keep up with San Francisco if they don't score on 2 or 3 consecutive drives. McCaffrey, Kittle, Debo, San Francisco, and the Giants. I got San Francisco taking that matchup. Again, pretty comfortably by 7, maybe 10. Heck, maybe it's a little bit closer. I don't know. But I think San Francisco at home is not going to run into a lot of adversity in that game. Giants may get the ball and go down the field and score. But San Francisco 49ers defense is so well-rounded. It's so sharp. And then on offense, they just strike so quickly and give the ball to so many different options that they'll take down the Giants and find themselves in the NFC Championship. The Eagles will play the Bucs. And this game will be low scoring for the first quarter and a half or 2 quarters. It'll be 10-7 Philadelphia, 13-10 Philadelphia, even 10-10 potentially. The Eagles will overmatch Tom Brady on defense because they have the best defense in the NFL. Brady will get sacked so many times. He'll make so many bad throws, be forced into a few picks, and the Eagles will end up taking the game probably something like 27-14, 27-17, and the Eagles will find themselves in the NFC Championship game against the 49ers. This game is a toss-up because the Eagles have probably a little bit of the slight edge on defense. I think the 49ers, to be honest, might have a slight edge on offense, just with so many different weapons. That being said, this game, considering that it may be a coin flip on paper with all the talent on both rosters, I think the deciding edge is the Eagles having home field advantage in this game. On the East Coast, in the cold, in the winter, Eagles are going to outlast and run a little bit more effectively with multiple backs, right? With Boston Scott and Miles Sanders and Jalen Hurts. Plus you got A.J. Brown, plus Dallas Goedert's back healthy. I think the Eagles outlast the 49ers in the NFC, or I think the Eagles outlast the 49ers in the NFC Championship. I'm thinking that score is going to be probably pretty low scoring, but also there'll be some pop plays, some bursts. So I'm going to go 26-21 Eagles over the 49ers in the NFC Championship. That would lead to a Buffalo Bills, Philadelphia Eagles Super Bowl matchup. This is going to be an incredible matchup. An incredible game. Philadelphia against Buffalo for all the marbles in the Super Bowl. I think the Bills have that small sliver of fire that the Eagles won't have. The Eagles won't have dealt with the Damar Hamlin situation. The Eagles won't have dealt with, as an organization, the Super Bowl struggles that the Buffalo Bills have gone through. This is going to be a flash, pop play, high intensity, exhilarating matchup. And the difference is going to be quarterback play in this game. I think Jalen Hurts is a great quarterback. I think he can execute with the best of them. He can run with the best of them. But as a comparison between Josh Allen and Jalen Hurts, Jalen Hurts is probably slightly, ever so slightly, a better runner of the football, just that I feel like it comes a little bit more naturally to him. But Josh Allen's still an incredible runner of the football. As far as quarterback play and accuracy and arm talent, Josh Allen has a huge edge in this category. The Buffalo Bills take down the Philadelphia Eagles in the Super Bowl by a final score of 37-33. It's going to be a great game, lots of touchdowns, and the deciding factor is going to be an ill-advised tight window throw from Jalen Hurts that gets tipped and intercepted, or a fumble by one of the running backs for Philadelphia, and the Bills will win the Super Bowl in 2023. That's my final predictions. That's what I think it's going to be, and I hope it unfolds in that exact way. What I hope also happens is that there are some upsets and intriguing matchups. Fan bases that don't have rooting interests in this year's postseason are going to be pulling for the following: the Eagles, the Bills, and the Bengals. If one of those three teams wins the Super Bowl, I would be more than happy and more than okay with that. What I don't hope happens is that it's Kansas City against the Vikings in the Super Bowl, or it's the Chargers and the Cowboys. I don't want these big market, flashy superstar. Like I don't want LA in another Super Bowl. I don't want Dallas in a Super Bowl. To an extent, I don't really want San Francisco in another Super Bowl. I want the ground and pound, hard-nosed, dedicated, cold weather, gritty teams, fan bases to find themselves with an opportunity to play for a world championship. And that would be Philly, Cincinnati, and Buffalo. I hope that's what it is. And more than likely, it's not going to be. It's probably going to be San Francisco and Kansas City as some sort of rematch. That would be, whatever. Would kind of suck, but, it is what it is.